Welcome to Wellness. It's the Jamie and Joe Show live.
Wow.
Now the Wow Hour,
the
holistic truth, all rolled up into one. So
all bets are off too on this, right?
Yes, because we
no
are
censorship.
Live. No censorship, no editing.
No.
Our team says you guys need to be edited, censored, and on tape delay. But we are live anyway. Thanks to, of course, Phil working the board, doing an incredible job.
Yes, sir.
Oh, people are asking. I'm sorry. I got first question. What is the Jamie and Joe Show? What is it, Joe?
It is the longest running episodic duo healthy talk radio show on the air today and multiple winner of most entertaining show on
Well, I think it's time for a new trophy room, Joe.
It is, because now we're going video.
We won the award so many times. We're going now for number one most entertaining streaming show.
There you go.
And we're here live every Monday at 11 a.m. to 12 noon, our favorite time. That way we can get up.
That's where we started. Remember our show? It was 11 o'clock.
I remember.
For years. Wow.
Phil wasn't even born back then. He was just a thought. So we've been on this show live. Now we're doing the streaming so that people can pick us up anywhere. So where can they pick us up, Joe? I'm not even sure.
Well, right now you got two choices. You actually have 3 or 4 choices. Hey, they're growing as we speak. We've got, of course, the Weiner Wellness Center Facebook page, Weiner Wellness Center YouTube channel. Now, they're still under Weiner Wellness Center, even though we are officially WOW, World of Wellness.
I love it. You guys did a great job on the new sign. Thank you.
On YouTube and Facebook, Weiner Wellness Center. Go there. They're live. Also on the Nutritional Frontiers Facebook and YouTube channel.
Yeah, we're going to go live every Monday with the Jamie and Joe Show right here. And then on Fridays, we have Woman on Wellness. That is Dr. Tracy and Dr. Ashley on women's health. So it just happens to be our November focus is on men's health. And we get so many questions from females about the men.
Right, in their lives.
Because men are stubborn, right? They don't want to address the issues. But in all seriousness, we want to address some of the topics that men are dealing with in a fun way and provide, most importantly, the solutions for you.
Exactly.
Because who would know better than 2 guys like us?
2 guys.
You know, we're not getting any younger, Joe. So I was told a long time ago, we don't have to age, but we do have to grow up.
You have to grow up, something like that. We all have to age, but we don't have to get old.
Oh,
there you go.
Who wants to get old, right?
Nobody.
So we can't guarantee more years to the life, but we want to get more life to the years, right? We want to keep you active, keep you fun, keep you in great relationships, keep you working, and most importantly, keep your dignity and keep your vibrant lifestyle going, right? You want to be vibrant because you want to make sure you're active and that you're enjoying your life. Yeah. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So when we talk about men's health, of course, everyone wants to know about testosterone. So I want to talk a little bit about testosterone and most importantly, how do we build it? But there's a couple other keys to testosterone. It's not just how much, right? Because there's other factors as far as balancing testosterone, estrogen, and men and women have testosterone, estrogen. And then also let's look at some of the issues people deal with from too much or too little testosterone, maybe the prostate, blood pressure, all leading to still the number one killer is not COVID.
No, it's not.
Number one killer in America
still heart disease. Still heart disease. Bar none. It's still
just that name. It doesn't even sound exciting. Heart disease, right? But it's still the number one killer. Yeah. We're actually located right here. I call it on Fast Food Alley. You know, all the fast food restaurants, and you know the diet is really important. So we're going to focus on a few things. But you know, you build the most of your hormones when you're hitting puberty in your young teens, wherever that is. You know. 13, 14, 15, all the way through to the young 20s, right? Yeah. So you're building this testosterone levels up, and then over time, they'll slowly come down. So we want to do is help preserve those higher testosterone levels, if possible, and also manage some of the potential issues you may have.
I like the way you put that because, you know, we hear all the time about hormone replacement therapy. We want to preserve our hormones and maximize our body's potential to produce them.
Absolutely. There's nothing wrong with getting all your testing done by a functional medicine medical doctor. I was just down on mine last week in the great state of Florida. So, you know, you need that support when you're at that point.
Yes.
But there's so many things you have to do in addition to what the doctor's going to do. And I say they do more of the fine tuning, right? Yeah. They're going to tune that station in so that you can hear it clearly. So your cells are working much better. But I think a lot of things when we get back even to the early ages, and when I was growing up, most of the kids were in shape, and a couple of them were like me, husky. Nowadays they see much higher body fat levels, which can affect hormones at a much younger age. So let's talk about the importance of the body fat as a young kid, leading into those puberty years, that your hormones are going to be growing and developing and peaking at much higher rates. We want to make sure the body fat is under control, because the body fat, we always thought of it being as inert and it just sits there, doesn't do much. But lo and behold, in the last 10 to 20 years, we've learned from some of our mentors, including Dr. Jeff Bland, Dr. Weiner, Dr. Franny Perez, when they started talking about this tissue, this adipose tissue, this fat tissue that actually is very pro-inflammatory, creates more body fat storage, and is actually one of the top producers of estrogen, right? So let's talk about the importance of body fat, especially at a younger age. What can people do about this, Joe?
Okay, so, at a younger age, I think we're seeing a lot of unnecessary body fat on young boys at a young age, right? And I think that has to do, number one cause, diet. Absolutely number one cause. You have to be very cognizant of the dairy products you're putting in your body. You have to be very cognizant of the meat products that you're putting in your body. If you start with organic dairy and organic meat products, grass-fed meat products at an early age, later in life, you're only going to reap the benefits, because you're going to slow down. They're adding estrogen to all of these cows, right? To the dairy products, to the meat products. If you're ingesting it on a regular basis, it's going to cause an effect in your body. Everything has an effect, right? Something, as Dr. Weiner said, anything cause anything? Well, drinking that glass of milk, it doesn't necessarily do you good.
Well, let's think about it from a simple terms, because you may not have the biochemistry background of you, Joe, right? You may be a simple person that maybe their background is in computers or something else. So when we talk about hormones, think about traffic jam, right?
Right.
If there's too much hormones being produced, right, or an optimal level during teenage years, and now you're ingesting exogenous hormones, right, from dairy products, from meats. This is actually a BPA-free plastic cup, from plastics, from dioxins, right? And then you add in processed food diet with high sugar, because elevated sugar increases insulin, increases hormone conversion. So you have a much bigger pool of estrogen being developed. So you look at the external hormones coming in, you look at optimal level in the body. Now you're looking at extra hormones being produced, estrogen, fat storage hormones, right? Because of the poor diet. This is a perfect storm.
It is.
It's like a traffic jam. If there's, 50,000 people yesterday going to the football game, well, there's going to be traffic as you get closer to the stadium. So if we're producing an optimal level, but now we're producing a lot more pro-inflammatory hormones, and we're ingesting from the outside, can you see how that would be a problem?
Absolutely. And it goes back to what we've always said. It goes back to diet. It goes back to what you put in your mouth. These kids that are ingesting these, and they're going to schools and they're eating school lunches. I remember an incident with my granddaughter. We weren't giving her any dairy, and it was like first grade, and they were, she said, I want water in the lunch line. No, you got to have milk. They forced the milk on the kids, and she wouldn't drink it, of course, but this is what they're exposed to. And then, like you said, if you add sugar to the whole mix, of course, we just came off the heels of Halloween, okay, and the season has started, right, Jamie? Everybody says it starts in November. You said it started on Halloween.
Yeah, well, actually, today I start my cleanse. This is a pre-Thanksgiving cleanse, so extra water. I did my power cleanse, greens, magnesium shake this morning, did my workout. So I'm ready to go, because I want to get a little head start on January. So I'm going to get a 2-month head start, Joe. I need a little more time to prepare for the New Year's resolutions. But a real key thing is doing the shake in the morning. Doesn't matter how old you are, do the shake in the morning. So we have an overabundance of extra hormones that we're producing. However, then later on, we start declining, right? And we're not producing as much. So let's look at what can we do, because you'll start slowly decreasing your hormone production in the early to mid 20s, 30s, and then it gets worse and worse and worse, so that eventually you'll see some of the side effects. And what are some of the issues men have with their hormones dropping? Everyone thinks it's sexual function, but what about the physical structure?
Yeah, it's more than that. It starts with muscle tone. energy levels, mind, the mind fog starts to set in, the brain fog starts to set in. But it starts first with your muscles, with your muscle tone, because that's where you're going to see it, the decline of the testosterone level. So you have to increase. And, they've always said, people in your industry, the bodybuilding and fitness industry, Jamie, that it's always more important to do resistance as you age than it is to do cardiovascular.
Absolutely. Right? One of the best things for maintaining muscle and bone. When I was a trainer back in the early 90s, a long time ago, a lot of my clients were actually females trying to prevent osteoporosis.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? And what would happen is they'd come in and say their mom, their aunt, their grandmother suffered from this, and it really scared them.
Yeah.
So we would help use the resistance training, weight training, which I did yesterday with both my daughters.
Oh, nice.
At the gym in South Point today by myself, is the exercise with the weight, and it could be machines, dumbbells, it doesn't matter. Right. Resistance training. It will stimulate the muscle and the bones to grow. And some of the more compound movements, right, where you use multiple muscles and multiple body parts, think about a squat or a deadlift or something like that, those will actually stimulate not only testosterone, but growth hormone production.
Well, there you go. Yeah. That's the key to it, because that's at the top of the chain. Yeah. You have to stimulate growth hormone before you can stimulate testosterone.
So these are ways you can do it just by exercising properly, right? Giving your body the stimulus. Also with lowering sugar consumption, right? And alcohol, because those all help your body aromatase or convert testosterone to estrogen, which you don't want. And then if you still need help, people always want to go to testosterone injections or pellets or creams right away. Right. Leave that for later. Yeah. Because we have two ways to approach it. Even if you add those in later for maybe, like they said, hormone replacement therapy as you get older, before you get to that point, let's look at a couple ways. And everyone always thinks of the sex hormone, testosterone. They forgot about the first two key parts of the axis, right? If you were going up a ladder, you wouldn't skip the first three steps, right? You go to the first one. And we learned this from Dr. Edwin Lee, of course. He's a functional medicine endocrinologist out of Orlando, Florida. One of the original clients of Nutritional Frontiers back 12, 13 years ago. Him and Jason Holland work in their office, and they do a great job. And he actually spoke for us a few times, Dr. Lee. And he went into, yes, we want to get to the testosterone, estrogen, and those things. But we got to first start with your adrenal glands and then your thyroid. So let's focus on those two key components of the axis, or the trifecta, as you call it, of hormones. So why adrenal and thyroid? Why don't we just jump to testosterone?
Yeah, the reason is you have a system in your body called the endocrine system. And within this system, you have organs. You have the pituitary, the hypothalamus, the adrenal, and the thyroid. And that's what I call the fat axis, PHAT, because those organs above are what start the process rolling. And then the actual manufacturing of the hormones comes down the ladder a little bit. So you've got to keep those organs functioning, right? That's why we came out with Thyroid Complete, because it addresses the entire fat axis.
And those are going to be the ones that are diminished and decreased first, right?
Right.
So these are all precursors to testosterone. And how do we burn out the adrenals? Well, how about stress? And how about busy lifestyle?
Absolutely. And stress, I mean, we could spend the whole hour on that.
Does anyone in 2021 have any stress?
Oh, my God. Nah, it's probably
And the American way is work how many days a week?
8 days a week.
8 days a week, right? Yeah. So we are go, 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 go. What happens is you start living on adrenaline. How do we know? Caffeine consumption, right?
Right.
Alcohol, sugar, nicotine. These are all used as stimulants, right?
Yes.
And what happens over time is that they further burn out the adrenal glands, right? So we want to make sure we're building the adrenals with something like Thyroid Complete. Very simple formula. I take 2 every morning when I wake up. And it'll give you not only the adrenal support, but the thyroid support, hypothalamus, and pituitary.
Yeah, exactly. And, that's interesting. I'm glad you said that you take it first thing in the morning, because when people ask about it, if they're on a thyroid med, it's always first thing in the morning. Without food, empty stomach. And the reason is that's when these processes are kicking into gear. Hormone production, growth hormone production, they're all early in the morning.
Well, we know how to make a hormone.
Yeah, we do.
What time is optimal hormone production?
Actually, the best is between 4 a.m. and 6 a.m.
Yeah.
Between
So
4 and
it's
6
the
a.m.
middle of the night to early rising,
Yes.
right? So
Yep.
that's where you're getting that deep REM sleep. And sometimes they'll even say, if you don't sleep the whole night, make sure you get some deep sleep, right?
Yes.
And somebody may be 2 to 6, it may be
Sure.
3 to 6, 3
Yeah.
to 7, somewhere past midnight before 8 a.m.
And I think a lot of people, Jamie, I get that confused. You don't have to be in a REM sleep for 8 hours.
Right. Right.
Okay, you need a good 2 to 3, maximum 4, but like 3 seems to be
Absolutely, yeah.
the happy medium.
So a very simple way to
Wait, how do
build.
you know you're in a REM sleep?
Well, I do double Ds.
Double Ds.
Right?
Yep.
I dream and I drool.
Drool.
So that's my scientific study for the day.
If
Phil
you're-
likes that one. He's cracking up over there.
If you're dreaming and drooling, you're in a REM sleep.
Yeah, so you get that deep sleep where you're having dreams, right?
Yes.
You wake up, you're not really sure where you are. And also you can do this with some really good naps, right?
Yes.
You know, they
absolutely.
did studies back with the Bulgarian athletes and the East European athletes back in the 60s and 70s. And they divided their training up and they would take these periodical naps during the day.
Huh.
And they found even 10 to 30 minutes of a nap. And I'm the king of cat naps. The weekend I've been known to do, sometimes
Yeah.
2, you know.
Yeah.
But those deep naps is where your body rebuilds.
Yeah.
So sleep at night. And if you need it during the day, of course, we allow that for our team here. So if you need that little extra afternoon siesta, especially on the weekends, go for it.
Go for
So
it.
Thyroid Complete is going to build the adrenals and the thyroid. Do you need to have any hormone problems to take adrenal and thyroid? like the Thyroid Complete?
No. You want to support the natural functionality of these organs.
Right.
That's what these nutrients do. You don't wait until there's a problem and like they do with drug therapy.
Yeah.
This is supporting the functionality to prevent them
Yeah,
from
and
shutting
more
down.
isn't better. I've experimented on the Thyroid Complete, taking 3 or 4 caps. You don't need it.
No.
Take 1 to 2 first thing in the morning with some water, and you're on your way. I like to cycle this. I like to do this about every 3 to 4 months. Do it for a period of time and then
Sure.
back off. So give it a good 3-4 months to see how you're doing on it. And then the next part of building the hormones is let's actually build testosterone. But we didn't just add the nutrients. It would be too easy just to build testosterone. We can do that with things like tribulus and things like maca and things like L-arginine and stuff like that. We didn't want to just add in those nutrients. We want to approach it from a 3 different biochemical pathways, right? So for our Testo 180 capsules, we want to build testosterone, right?
Right.
We want to improve circulation
Mhm.
because we know heart disease, blood pressure. So those are some of the issues men deal with, but all people. So we want to build testosterone, improve circulation. And then the third component that's often missed, Joe, is the rebalance hormone,
That's right.
testosterone to estrogen ratio.
Yes.
Just by improving the spread from those two in the ratio, that alone can feel like a testosterone surge. So
Yeah,
let's talk,
absolutely.
why do we go through 3 different mechanisms of action with the Testo 180 rather than just boosting testosterone?
Well, because 3 is always better than 1, and your body has multiple functions. Multiple functions are always combining to do something in the body, right? So we need to, like you said, boosting testosterone. Let's make sure everybody understands we're boosting the body's ability to make it.
We're giving the nutrients the
Yes.
body needs to build,
To build
testosterone.
testosterone.
We're not just adding
Right.
in testosterone. Not at this
Mm-mm.
point. You can always do that later. Too many people go to that first,
Yes.
and they don't get the support that they could get, and the body gets burnt out.
Gets burned
So-
out. But then circulation is important too because it increases nitric oxide and you increase blood flow. And that helps with the production as well. And not only that, this formula is designed to help men get over some rough spots.
Absolutely. So we added in things to improve circulation. L-arginine improves nitric oxide
Yes.
production, right?
Right.
Ginkgo biloba and
Yes.
ginseng both help out by improving circulation. So one thing we want to do is improve circulation. That would improve your risk of heart disease.
Yes.
It would improve your risk of elevated or mismanaged blood pressure. It can help with erectile dysfunction. It can help with overall circulation factors, right? So one was improved circulation. The second one was increased testosterone. And way back when in the 90s, when I was in my sports nutrition career, there was a nutrient that we imported from Bulgaria. It was called tribulus.
Yes.
And at first, guys and girls thought it was, it's from Bulgaria. It's not going to work. It's just a fad. No. the real Bulgarian tribulus terrestris will actually stimulate luteinizing hormone in the testes and increase testosterone levels.
Yes.
This stuff is fantastic, but you need the right form of the tribulus, and that's what we use in here.
Yeah.
Any comments? I know you've been around tribulus a long time.
Yeah, tribulus was the first. It came out, and it was very exciting. And then there was a time when we thought we were going to lose it because those other guys. They said, "Wait a minute, this might compete with our manufactured stuff." But no, tribulus has been around a long time, and many times it was just used as a single nutrient.
Absolutely.
And then of course, we don't go by that theory. We think multiple nutrients to the same end result is the better path.
So tribulus is the foundation for increasing the testosterone. Yeah. Then we added in maca, and herbis been used for
another one
years.
That was used by itself. Right?
Absolutely.
All the time.
Yeah.
Sure.
And then the third one we added was horny goatweed. So we found these three in combination.
My favorite. Yeah.
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 That's been a great nutrient. Yeah. I know you've used it quite a bit in the industry. It helps really with not only testosterone, but the smooth muscles. So you think about cardiovascular muscles,
you
right?
You just can't beat the name. Horny goatweed. I mean, just saying it makes people smile.
Absolutely.
Right? And that's good for testosterone.
These ingredients all work individually.
Yeah.
We know for circulation, L-arginine, ginkgo, and ginseng work individually. We know when you put them together, there's a synergy of their effect.
Yeah.
Right?
Exactly.
And that's why we do that. Same with increasing testosterone. We know the tribulus from Bulgaria works well. We know maca and horny goatweed work well. When we put them together, improve synergy. So increase the circulation, improve the circulation, increase the hormones, especially testosterone. And then what do we do to rebalance and increase that ratio of testosterone to estrogen? Because that's a key factor, especially guys like me that have higher normal estrogen levels. People that tend to go on the side where they can gain body fat easier, right? Yeah. So these endomorph type of bodies, So what did we add in there to help with that?
We added in DIM, diindol methane. Now, DIM has the unique ability to take that ratio, that delicate ratio between free testosterone and estrogen, specifically estradiol, and keep it in the right balance. That's the key. So does it lower estrogen and raise test? No, it just keeps the balance.
And I remember Dr. Bland said, he was very scientific, of course. Ooh. And he said, if you're not using DIM in your hormone formula, you are DUM. Good one, right?
That's a good one. Yeah, you've been holding that back on that.
I got a couple up my sleeve. I can't let them all out, Joe. I got to save them a little bit. So we have Thyro Complete to build the fat axis. Then we have the Testa 180 to improve the circulation, increase testosterone and your ratio. And then, hey, there's some people may have concerns about prostate, right? Yeah. For females, even issues with breast, ovarian, uterus, right? I know it's men's health, but this applies to everyone. So we have a formula specifically for this type because my concern is things like alcohol, stress, sugar consumption, elevated blood pressure,
elevated cortisol.
So let's talk about that because I want to talk about why are people at risk for prostate and these other types of issues if hormones are out of balance.
If hormones are out of balance, then every system that those hormones touch will be out of balance. Okay, so the endocrine system touches so many other things in your whole body's makeup, and that's where these things cascade. And they just grow on one another. So if you elevate cortisol, and how do you do that? Well, through stress, through diet, too much consumption of things like alcohol and sugar, caffeine,
processed foods, right?
Processed foods through the roof. You're going to elevate cortisol, which is your body's fight or flight hormone.
People say, well, what does the diet have to do so much? Think about it this way. If you're under stress, which most people are, it's okay. Then you got problem solving at work, right? Yeah. And then maybe you have a family issue with finances, right?
Sure.
If your diet is nutritionally deficient in B vitamins and elevated in toxins like a processed food would, now you don't have the nutrients you would normally have to have the mental energy to be able to overcome these, because most people don't realize their diet's so poor until they stop taking that multi, until they stop doing the power cleanse. They're like, oh, I don't feel as good. Yeah. So we want to make sure you have the nutrients in there because the processed foods aren't going to have, the things. It's interesting, Joe. People are under stress. They need more B vitamins. They take things that don't have B vitamins in them. that further deplete the bees.
Yeah.
And they wonder why they're so
They're
stressed out. They're not
No.
so stressed out. They're
No.
under nutrient.
Yes.
So they're nutrient deficient. They can't handle what's going on. Now think about that from a biochemical level, right? Just one thing, B vitamins.
That's right.
What else is B vitamins involved in? Blood sugar regulation,
Mhm.
stress, mood.
Number one defense
Hormones.
against stress
Yeah.
are your B vitamins.
So when we talk about these things, we want to make sure that you have a plan because, it's not just one thing, right? It's not just testosterone.
No.
It's, well, what's affecting my hormones?
Yeah.
How come I have elevated body fat levels, right? How come I'm not as lean? How come I'm not as strong? How come my mood's off, right? So if you have elevated body fat and you're concerned with risk factors like prostate, ovarian, breast, uterus, whatever it is, one of the best forms, this was actually designed by Dr. Franny Brez. She was a medical doctor, naturopathic doctor, and a master with homeopathy, right? So she was a trifecta.
Alphabet soup.
She was the one of the pioneers, along with Dr. Weiner in the Pittsburgh area. And they were very close friends for, 40 years.
Yeah.
And she came up with a formula with our team called Estro Cleanse. And when she first started working on this with us, we said, well, what's the goal? She said, number one is to reduce inflammation.
Yes.
I said, well, how do we do that? Well, we use curcumin. And the one we use is called curcumin. So it's a patented trademark turmeric. That the turmeric has curcumin in it, right?
Yep.
It's a curcuminoids. That's the active ingredient in turmeric.
Right.
So
turmeric's the spice, right?
When you look at it, that's the first thing is to cool down the inflammation, just using that. And then we want, because if you're more inflamed, you're going to push. Remember we talked about the traffic jam? You're going to push that. So now there's too much hormones. And when there's too much, where do they go?
They get excreted out.
Yeah.
You lose them.
They take the back way when there's
Take
too
it
much
out.
traffic. And
Yep.
sometimes that can be more damaging than staying where you're at.
Yeah.
So if you have too many hormones at once, and what would push that? Sugar, body fat. You have this hormone in body fat called aromatase. This actually converts the testosterone into estrogen.
Yes.
So if you have higher body fat, you are producing more inflammation and you are producing more estrogen naturally.
Mhm.
Not a good recipe.
No, it's not a good recipe, and it gets complicated because things like what you're adding to it with your diet, what you're adding to it with your lifestyle or lack of lifestyle activity. Okay, because if you're not using it, you're going to lose it, right? But also, I think cortisol. I keep coming back to it, Jamie, because it's a testosterone killer.
Yes.
I mean, even people that are on testosterone therapy, if their cortisol levels are high, they're not getting the results.
Yeah, a lot of people out there may not be training, but some people overtrain.
Yeah.
Your body's beat up, you're losing strength, you lose libido, you're not sleeping as well. And the other problem with cortisol is that it may be peaking at the wrong times.
Yeah.
It's good to have that peak in the morning, but a lot of people, how do we know it peaks at night? I call it stressed and wired.
Yeah. They can't sleep.
I can't shut my mind off.
I have a question. Would it work for those suffering with an ovarian cyst?
Ovarian, well, what's causing the ovarian cyst, right? You have
Yes.
uterine fibroids,
Yes.
ovarian cysts. Those are usually pro-inflammatory in nature.
Mhm.
So something like the Estro Cleanse in conjunction with the anti-inflammatory diet
Yes.
would be a fantastic start. And of course, make an appointment at the World of Wellness. You can do that by Zoom or you can come into the Wellness Center.
Mhm.
Either way. Yeah, so that's the end result, the cysts, right? Uterine fibroids. What about a male with elevated PSA?
Right.
Or they have developed gynecomastia in the breast tissue. They're holding more belly fat. These are all signs that the hormones are out of balance.
Mhm.
In fact, a close friend of mine, I didn't realize it because he had moved around quite a bit and we didn't see each other weekly or monthly. He had a heart attack and died at 48 a few years ago, right? One of my best friends. And,
Yeah,
when I look back at the pictures, because he had all these pictures at his service, I realized like his belly was a little bigger than I expected, right? So he was having a lot of that
Mhm.
pro-inflammatory, hormone imbalance, storage of body fat.
Yeah.
And usually when that happens, if somebody's central right around the gut, that's really dangerous,
Yeah.
right? That central adiposity, right? Because what happens is they call it that visceral adipose tissue, is that the reason that's storing there at such a rapid rate is because the hormones are out of
Yeah.
balance.
Out of
These are
balance.
usually the risk for the massive heart attack where
Mhm.
they don't survive.
Right.
So something like the diet, the anti-inflammatory diet with the estro cleanse.
Yeah, and again, remember the ovarian cysts are the end result, like you said. That's the end, and too many times that's how it's approached. Let's take care of the cyst. Well, wait a minute, what caused them? Let's get to the cause, not the cure. And a formula like Estro Cleanse is designed, I mean, brilliantly designed, with two major pathways being addressed, right? You have the hormone balancing pathway being addressed, not just with DIM, right? Not just with DIM's precursor, indole-3-carbinol, but with both of those and calcium deglucarate. All come from cruciferous vegetables, all work in the same chemical pathway. So we have that trifecta of nutrients.
Yeah, and why those nutrients? Because there's certain parts of the body, I call them crossroads, right? It's like a major crossroad where, hey, if that's backed up with traffic, I'm in trouble. So the cruciferous vegetables, actually like the traffic cop, they wave the hormones through in an orderly fashion, right? So they help things continue biochemically in the body, because if they don't, if they're backed up there, they're going to proliferate either in the breast for a male or female or the prostate. Exactly what we don't want.
Yes.
So the Estro Cleanse will help with some of the body fat concerns, right? Some of the pro-inflammatory concerns that we have. And a lot of times I'll use it for when I'm trying to get a little leaner, right? Because it'll help rebalance those hormones and in turn lower body fat.
And don't let the name fool you, or don't let the name throw you, and don't throw the name. But Estro Cleanse is for men and women. Everybody, like Jamie said, we've all used it at some time or another because we all need it.
Don't let the names fool you on any of these products. Women's Complete.
Women's Complete. Designed for a woman, strong enough for a man.
Yes.
There you
so
go.
you can use Women's Complete. You can use Estro Cleanse. These are all interchangeably. They are more specific for a certain group, but the Estro Cleanse for everybody.
Yes.
So when we're going through this, you want to look at, okay, this is a more complex topic than people think. It's just men's health, right?
No.
Well, there's a lot of factors that get involved. So we got to look at not only the genetics, but more importantly, the epigenetics, the lifestyle contribution. Because I'm picturing how some people smoke cigarettes, drink excess alcohol. Maybe it's all caffeine, sugar, and nicotine, right?
Yeah.
There's no water. There's no nutrient consumption. And then you have the other extreme where maybe they're doing everything to the part that now they're burnt out.
Yeah.
Right. So Thyro Complete, Testa 180, Estro Cleanse can be used interchangeably depending on the person and the goal. That's why it's really important. Let's just take a little sidebar here for a minute, Joe. It's really important you work with a doctor or a healthcare coach.
Yeah,
A
absolutely.
wellness coach.
Yes.
Do you have a wellness coach?
Sure do. I have
Who
a
is
couple
it?
of them.
Yeah.
Well, let's see. I got Dr. Orbach, I got Ashley Rossi, I got Tracy Straub, and I got this guy named Jamie Dorley. So I'm doing pretty good.
He's got his hands full over here, Phil. Yeah, and then I'm sure you seek that other massage therapy over time. You know, you've gotten blood work done, hormone testing, right? It takes a village, folks. And people say, well, how much is that stuff? I says, look, if you were going to bargain shop, do it on your clothes, your car, your shoes, your phone, something else.
Yeah.
How many people, Joe, have one of these?
Sure, everybody.
Okay. How much are they?
Oh, they're a lot.
$1,200. I guarantee you can get quite a few visits with the doctors at the wellness center for $1,200.
Sure can.
Plus, your body will last a lot longer than this phone will. How do I know? Because I go through these about every year or two when they start playing with them. So you got to reinvest in yourself. You got to schedule time, and then you got to give them time to get to your results. Because if it took you 30, 40 years to get to where you are, they're not going to get there in one visit. But you will see improvement. I always say you can see changes in your body in 1 month. Your family will see it in 2, and coworkers will see it in 3 months.
And usually that 1 month is because you're feeling the difference. Maybe the clothes are a little looser, right? Get another notch on the belt.
You're like, oh, the belt's down. Does anyone see that yet? No, it takes 2 notches, 3 notches. Yeah,
exactly.
For other people. So hire a wellness coach, hire a chiropractor, whatever your concern is. So what do? They just call the office?
Just give us a call, 412-922-9355. You know, it's always best, you know, we want you to work on your structure. We have 2 phenomenal chiropractors here in Dr. Orbach and Dr. Ross. But we want you also to get started where we always say it starts with what you put in your mouth. So you want to schedule with the Ashley Rossi, our naturopathic practitioner, or Jeff Nisnik. Let's find out what's going on.
And if you get off course a little bit, like we all do, get right back on with them. Maybe you need a refresher.
Yeah.
You know, maybe you're getting results. You get a little bit of comfort. You can eat that one peanut butter cup and you're okay. But then that triggers some more bad habits, right?
Yeah.
Get back and meet with them. The accountability factor alone is second to nothing, right?
No,
you know, the reason they did some surveys, the reason the Weight Watchers program actually worked for people is that Monday weigh-in. They do it after the weekend too. Pretty slick, aren't they?
Yeah, pretty slick.
Yeah,
That's right.
Most programs weigh in Friday morning, and the weekend you go crazy. Not Weight Watchers. It was the accountability of getting on the scale in front of others. Right?
And I have firsthand experience with Ashley just recently. You know, we did a scan, a Zyto scan, and you know, I found out that I did a little carbo loading on Thursday night, a little bit too much wheat, and because we saw on the Zyto scan, it was amazing. She goes, wow, yeah, a sleep issue here. I said, well, I normally sleep great, but last night, for some reason, I woke up early, 2:30, and couldn't get back to sleep. She goes a little further. She sees a wheat sensitivity on the food sensitivity issues. So she goes, what did you eat Thursday night? I said, well, it just happened to be spaghetti madness, you know, but it was organic pasta. She goes, it was still wheat. She goes, anything else? I said, well, I had some homemade bread. Homemade bread to dip in the sauce. She goes, well, that's sweet.
Couple of drinks. Yeah.
She goes, anything else? I said, well, I did get an apple pie from the farmer's market. So it's like, she goes, you overloaded.
On a Thursday?
On a Thursday.
Oh, my God.
Well, Natalia was cooking, making sauce, right? So.
Well, sometimes it's even the volume, right?
Yeah.
So if you eat all the things that you shouldn't have on your program, and sometimes if you got, you know, specific goals, you need to be really strict for a period of time.
You know, this is where Ashley comes in so importantly, Jamie, because I want to emphasize that, you know, I wasn't sick, but I had other things like I didn't sleep good, and my iron levels were low. I said, I ate tons of red meat. She goes, wheat depletes iron or prohibits its absorption. So as much as we know, we need an expert to help us sometimes.
Yeah, I think it's good to learn from that. The other thing is helping with the accountability. I was meeting my doctor last week, and I says, my metals are fine. She pulls out my blood work. She says, the range is up to 10. You're at 9.8. She goes, you've been eating fish forever. I says, oh, my God. So sometimes it's just seeing that from a professional's point of view, because the average person, including me, says, well, it's in the range. Yeah. Well, it's this close away, and it's been inching up all these years, and that's really affecting.
Now, see, that's important. The trend is more important than the number. Is it inching up or is it inching down?
Somebody weighs in at 200. Was that good or bad?
Depends on where they were to begin with.
If they were 230 before, it's pretty good. If they're 170, not so good, right? So having that professional, I always say meet with them for 1 to 5 visits, and then get on a maintenance program. Come to our events, meet with them quarterly, periodically. If you have, you know, with success, you know, comes new challenges.
Yeah.
So someone who comes in and says they want to lose 20 pounds, they do. Now they want to do this. They want to, you know, get ready for the beach or an event. So make sure you work with somebody. And we have multiple healthcare professionals here. We have the 2 doctors of chiropractic, Dr. Gideon Orbach and Dr. Phil Ross. So if it's more musculoskeletal, structural, it could be anything, go see them first. And then if you're not sure if it's weight loss or GI or those types of things, go with Dr. Ashley Rossi. And then if you're not sure and you like some manual examination, we have Dr. Jeff Nisnik, right?
Jeff, and if you have allergy issues, if you have sensitivity issues with food, and you don't know if you're taking the right supplements, that's when you want to see Jeff.
Absolutely. So, and it's all lifestyle based. They can help educate you about making small changes. Like even for me, the average person would say eating grilled fish is great.
Yeah.
Well, it used to be, right? Compared with fried fish or a burger or something, right? But now it's like, okay, I got to make some adjustments. Organic chicken, grass-fed beef, the shakes, the smoothies.
And, you know, not only that, I was at Trader Joe's over the weekend looking at their, you know, they're pretty good, a lot of organic stuff. But all of their fish that was frozen was farm raised.
Ooh.
All of it. So there you go. That's another thing you've got to check. Is fish good? Yeah. But it should be wild caught. You're going to have less toxins in the wild caught. So yeah, even fish you have to be
And there's
very
different
careful.
levels, right?
Yeah.
You know, the sea bass, the swordfish, the
Yes.
shark, you know, they're going to have much higher levels of metals than the smaller fish. The older, the fatter the fish, just like the person. The older, the fatter the person,
Yeah.
the more toxins
The
are going to
more
hold, because
toxins.
you hold those in the fat cells.
That's right.
Right.
That's right.
And remember, the solution to pollution is dilution.
Yeah.
So when you're holding fluid outside the cells, that's going to show you really toxic. So we always go back to toxicity and nutritional deficiencies. And that's why we're going through Men's Health this month, because we know men have much higher levels of toxicity.
Yep.
Right. And they're often nutrient deficient because a male will just skip meals. Right. And then they'll eat whatever they want. So not a good strategy.
Yeah, I mean, like
long-term.
the guy, you know, if you're on the road, if you have a job where you're driving constantly, you know, you're not able to cook meals. You know, it's hard to find those healthy choices.
No, and then the other people on the other side that maybe they have to go out to eat a lot for their jobs, right? And then there may be alcohol involved. So you got to have a strategy going in based on your lifestyle and your goals. And that's where the professional can help create and customize a program for you. So if they want to schedule, who do they call?
412-922-9355, 922 well. Anybody that answers, get on the schedule. We're here 6 days a week. Okay, Monday through Saturday. Find some time. Come on in. Everybody's here.
Absolutely. So I want to thank everyone for all the support. We're excited for our next event coming up. We got multiple events this month. So you want to talk about some of the events we have going on?
Yeah, we got some great things coming up in the month of November. In the month of November, on the 17th, we have...
What day of the week is it?
That's Wednesday.
Wednesday night. Wellness Wednesday.
6 p.m. Wellness Wednesday live right here at the World of Wellness. We have Eat This, Not That for the holidays with Ashley Rossi. The perfect person for us. She's going to come in with some things that she made. She's going to bring recipes.
Hold on, my phone's blowing up. How much is that?
Oh, that is, let's see, $0.0.
Free.
Yeah, absolutely free. Come on in. You don't have to register. Just come on in. Take part.
This can be some boring
nice
3-hour presentation with a big sales pitch.
No, one big hour, just 1 hour, 6 to 7, and all you're going to do is learn.
Interactive, right?
Interactive. We'll have samples. You'll get recipes to take home with you. You don't have to buy a thing.
I love it. So Wednesday, November 17th, we have Eat This, Don't Eat That during the holidays with Dr. Ashley Rossi. It's going to be a big event. We have a lot of women that want to come, but men, I'm sure, will come too.
Bring the kids.
And then Saturday, November 23rd, we have the partnership with World of Wellness and the PCIC right here going on. So stay tuned for details. And what's the best way to stay tuned?
Get on our the Weiner Wellness Center Facebook page and get on our YouTube. But the main one, you can either go on our website or Facebook. But Phil, Facebook, number one, right?
Facebook,
Everybody, you can get it. It's updated quicker than anything else. That's the one that has all the latest events.
Absolutely. And, you know, a really easy way to keep in touch is get on our email list.
Yes.
And then listen to our streaming. We have Mondays and Fridays, 11 to 12. We'll update you every week of what's going on. You can tune in. You also get the recording, but this is our way of giving back because so many people asked for it. And now you can tune in every Monday and Friday from 11 to 12. We are live on multiple channels, so you can just pick us up. And we're here to help educate you and keep you in tune to what's going on. And we didn't stop there, Joe. Friday, Black Friday, right?
Yeah, we're going to start the old Wellness Week a little bit early. It starts December 4th. On December 4th to the 11th is the Winter Wonderland Wellness Week. Lots going on. We got to bring back the Barbershop Quartet. They're going to be singing. We're going to have samples and a lot of fun, a lot of great workshops, free food. But we're going to start the pre-sale a little bit early. Normally, we start at the Monday before. We're going to start at the Friday before that.
That's Black Friday, November 26th, starts the Wellness Week. Black Friday, we're going to have some extra specials for you.
Oh, yeah.
Unadvertised, you have to come in,
You got to come in.
You got to come in and see what all the great giveaways are. Everyone that comes in and buys anything will get a special treat.
Ooh.
This month, we're doing sleep time samples.
Yes,
Let's talk about that because we're talking about hormones today.
Yes.
And we've learned about it's important during those REM hours of sleep. So who would use sleep time and how to use it and what's the importance of it?
I mean, everybody can benefit from sleep time at one time or another. Some people need it on a regular basis. Some just need it in those times when maybe they did a little diet faux pas, or they did a little too much cortisol, a little bit too much
Maybe
stress.
you're traveling. Maybe something's thrown off your
time
schedule.
zones, yes.
You have a change in your schedule, where
shifts. You're on
somebody
shifts.
keeps you up later, you got to pick someone up, or
Yep.
those types of things.
Yep.
So
Yep.
a lot of reasons for that.
Yeah.
My flight was delayed last week, so I didn't get to the hotel till about 1 in the morning. So there's a lot of factors that can play into this.
Yeah.
So what's the advantage of sleep time, and how do you take it?
The advantage is that it addresses the sleep issue from the two most important points. Number one, some people just can't fall asleep.
Yeah.
So we have the melatonin and the 5-HTP in there for that. And then some people can fall asleep, but they wake up every hour. Usually it's because the mind is racing. So we have the neurotransmitter components in there, in the aminos, and the B vitamins and the L-theanine to help calm the mind so that you can stay asleep. And then that helps you get into the REM sleep, where you're going to make your hormones.
And you can take the sleep time as needed, or you can do it daily.
Yes.
Most people find that with any time they're supporting sleep, over the counter, prescription, whatever it may be, it usually either helps fall asleep or keeps them asleep.
It's usually a sedative.
Right.
Yeah.
And then what happens is they build up a tolerance to it. So they need more and more, and then it doesn't work anymore. The sleep time actually works in the opposite fashion, because when you start rebalancing some of the key neurotransmitters in the brain, like dopamine and serotonin, pain and pleasure, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those two hormones are really important to stay in balance. And when you do, you'll fall asleep and maintain sleep. And a PSC, a positive side effect, is you'll have less cravings during the day when dopamine and serotonin are more balanced.
Nice.
So
Like
sleep
that.
time, start with 1, about an hour before bed. If that doesn't do the trick, increase it by 1 each night. You won't need more than 2 to 3.
Yeah, everybody's around that range. And I think that it's the perfect example. Sleep time is the perfect example of the difference between just doing drug therapy and supporting the body's natural mechanisms, right? Because when you do sedatives and you do, like you said, you'll start to need more and more and more, because your body gets used to it. But with this approach, you support the natural function of the body, and you naturally fall asleep, and then over time you need less.
So there are free samples of sleep time this month with any purchase. So come on down, mail orders. Either way you do it, we don't mind. So you get a free bottle of sleep time. If you're sleeping like a baby, pass it on to someone who's not, because sleep is one of the top challenges we face in the country right now.
Oh my God,
people are overstressed and they don't sleep that well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's an easy way to help somebody out, give them the gift of health. And we're doing that this month with the free sleep time. So one correction, the PCIC WOW event, right? Is the 20th. Yeah. 20th. I knew it wasn't right. So we got the 17th and the 20th, then the 26th, and then the Wellness Week is December 4th to the 11th next month. Mm-hmm. So Joe, what if, one of the most common concerns people come in with, especially men, right, is mismanaged blood pressure.
Oh, yeah.
Right.
I like the way you put that, mismanaged blood pressure, because that's what we have to do. We have to manage it.
Yeah.
It's not a matter of lowering it. It's a matter of managing
I just want people to realize we're not judging or anything. I'm just identifying some of the risk factors.
Right.
Inactivity, number one.
Yes.
There were studies years ago, we've looked through them all, that showed just walking 30 minutes a day over 30 days has the same effects, which are mild to moderate reductions in blood pressure, as a medication would.
That's just.
And the conclusion of the study was we need to do more research. I'm not sure why. We know it works. If it worked the first 30 days,
that's what
it's going to work the next 30 days.
That's what researchers, they do.
Really,
research.
What happens from talking to some of these docs is they say, look, people don't stick with the program. That's why we need the medications.
Sure.
So walking will help. Your body weight's going to help. The more weight you have carrying around, the more stress it puts on your heart, the more your heart's got to pump blood throughout the body, and the harder it is. I mean, that's common sense, isn't it?
Yes. Yeah, absolutely. And then, along with that is, like you said, lifestyle. What are you doing? Are you moving your body? Are you taking in the right nutrients? Are you taking in the wrong ones? Are you eating so much sugar and so much caffeine that for your body's just going to be so out
Yeah,
of
well,
balance.
caffeine in moderation is okay. What's
Yeah.
moderation mean? Maybe a small coffee in the morning.
1 or 2
Yeah.
a day. Yeah.
One would be great for most people. If your blood pressure is high, one may be too much, right? And you're managing it with blood pressure medications. They have a lot of side effects. We call them direct effects.
Yes.
So be very careful when you're doing those. One of the biggest things that causes elevated blood pressure is stress.
You're right back to it.
Right.
Elevated cortisol is going to cause elevated blood pressure.
So it can affect blood pressure, it can affect heart, it can affect eye pressure and stress. So we have a simple therapy that Dr. Wanna used, for 30 years?
Yeah. One of the longest running formulas I've
Yeah.
ever seen him.
And it works. I'd say it works probably in 70 to 80% of people. It works fairly quickly and easily, right? And they're
You
little tiny pellets.
You know how it works? Still one of the biggest sellers every wellness week.
Yes.
People, they use it. And
People love it, and they're shocked because they say, "Oh, I started with 3 or 6 of those little pellets, and now my blood pressure stabilized."
Yeah, yeah.
So 7 Flowers BP can be a simple therapy. This is the original formula. There are many copycats out there, but there's only one original.
Only one.
And this is it. This has been utilized for Dr. Weiner and the team, originally down at the Pain Release Clinic.
Yeah.
Then the Weiner Wellness, now World of Wellness. So this formula has survived 3 transitions of the business. And it works so easily without any potential side effects with this.
Yeah, and it does. It works very easily. Like you said, they're tiny little pellets, very easy to take, and there's no adverse effects. No adverse effects. But I will throw a little something out there, a little clinical pearl. If you do go on Estro Cleanse, as part of your hormone balancing therapy, you're going to get a PSE from that.
Yes.
You know what it is? Activin, the patented form of grapeseed extract.
Forgot about that one.
And grapeseed extract has been used for years as a natural way of managing blood pressure as well, because how it keeps the artery walls intact and fortified so blood can flow.
Absolutely. So you get a lot of positive side effects from these formulations. When you start doing the lifestyle, which is the NF for life, and that's a very simple, easy follow program, right? It's what you drink and what you eat and your movement, right? And then it's digestion and it's sleep and emotional wellness. So we give you all these different tools. Do you know the NF for life handbook, patient book is coming out soon?
Oh, I had heard a rumor it was in the works.
Oh, I saw almost the final copy.
Okay.
It's going to be a fun workshop book, right? Workbook. Yeah, so that we're going to have workshops to teach you on how to implement this. But it's a very easy to follow book, and you can pick it up anytime and read a few pages and learn. And how to apply it, most importantly, because I think the implementation is where people fall off.
Oh yeah, exactly. They can come here even and learn, and they'll talk to us at the wellness weeks, and and then do they go home and do it?
Sometimes
some do, but some don't. You can tell who does because they come back with a smile. They got the results. And
you can be on the program and then maybe lose track and get right back on, and the goals change. So if you're out there and you're looking for help and you want to set an appointment, we have the healthcare professionals here. Plus, we partner with a lot of trainers.
Yes.
So everything from Joe's background with martial arts and boxing to my background with fitness and weights and cardiovascular training. There's tremendous opportunities right now to work with trainers all over the country.
And Dr. Phil Ross is a golf professional. He's trained and certified in TPI, the Titleist Performance Institute. And then you have Dr. Orbach, who's a skilled scuba diver and jiu-jitsu practitioner, even though he loves basketball the most.
And Tai Chi.
And Tai Chi.
And personal training.
Exactly.
Tracy's a former personal trainer.
A personal trainer.
So and then we have access to a whole network of people. Recently, my daughter was coming home and wanted to work with a trainer. So I called Gary. He was in Mexico at an event. He said, call Billy. I called Billy. He's in Texas at an event. So I called Anthony. So she worked out with Anthony this weekend. So we have access to trainers. We got Paul up in New York, Joe DeFranco out of Jersey. So trainers all over. So if you're looking for a trainer, just let us know. Melissa Berry.
I mean, you got him, but he doesn't have the time. So if he had the time, you'd have to go no
Well,
further.
Pauline is in about 10 gyms now. So she's got access. We will hook you up with a trainer based on where you live and what your goals are. So a lot of great opportunities to help you this month. And we're going to do this live every Monday. So today's an overview of the month. and then we're going to break it down a little more
Do you
each
think?
week.
Do you think the girls will be able to, be up to par here after this show today? You think they'll be
It's
able?
their first one.
Huh?
Jim.
Yeah,
You
all
always
right,
remember
we'll
your first
see.
show.
Yeah.
So we'll remember. We'll have to watch.
We have a little more experience.
We'll have to watch
Working
and keep
together.
an eye on it.
Yeah.
And I'm sure we'll give it some constructive criticism on how to improve, of course.
Oh, of
And I'm sure
course.
they'll give us some too, because we're always looking to improve. So we're speaking of improvement. We want to improve. The last thing we look at is the prostate, right? And this is near and dear to our heart. We lost a dear friend this year from prostate cancer. I think a lot of times we underestimate, the potential risk with prostate cancer, right? Where if it's brain cancer, we get all nervous, but prostate cancer, we don't. So this year I had my friend's son with brain cancer, given a 3% chance of living. He survived and thriving down a pit. And then, one of our clients with the prostate cancer, he passed away. So you never know, folks. Don't let someone else tell you that you're going to pass or you're not, right? Take the responsibility in your own hands. But the prostate's a very sensitive tissue, and it's a very sensitive subject. If we live long enough, 1 out of every 2 males, so either me or Joe, will have an issue with our prostate if we live long enough. And now the new therapies, depending on the age and the aggressiveness of the prostate cancer, is to leave it alone.
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, because sometimes the therapy can be more invasive and more detrimental. They're so quick to do the biopsies, so quick to cut it out. Not necessarily. There are alternatives.
And we had a patient years ago that came in, and he cured himself just from eating tomato paste for the lycopene.
Yeah,
And it wasn't even something we told him. He learned
That's
on his
right.
own. So
That's right.
we use a patented form of lycopene called Lycored. In the prostate formula, you also use the Trax minerals. So it's a very therapeutic formula, only 2 caps per day.
Yeah.
We had some great client testimonials and case studies where we saw the prostate numbers actually decrease just by using the PSA.
Yeah, just by using it. You can't, if you could eat pumpkin seeds all year round, okay. But, they do have a high amount of the nutrient necessary.
Well, you add them in.
You can
You
add
add
them
in
in.
pumpkin seeds. You add
Sure.
in good fats like avocados and nuts and nut butters. And
Yep. Tomato
you
paste.
manage your
and
inflammation.
the lycopene is higher in the paste than it is in the actual tomato.
Right.
So once it's cooked and processed, it really have the lycopene is then released.
That's good to know. So another good reason for eating a colorful rainbow diet.
Yes.
There are so many benefits that we know, and probably even more we don't know. And that's why I don't get jammed up with just one ingredient.
Yeah.
Nutritional Frontiers and World of Wellness, we use comprehensive formulas in things like the purples and reds. I mean, what kind of benefit would they have for prostate?
Oh my God, tremendous, because of the antioxidant capacity that they have. And that's what lycopene is. It's an antioxidant. So there is a correlation between all of them, and they do work synergistically.
Yeah, when you look at it, it's a full lifestyle program.
Sure.
It's not just a product. It's not just a treatment. It's not just the testosterone. It's not just a visit. You got to do the full lifestyle program if you want to make sure you optimize your results. If you don't, that's okay too. But if you're going to do it, you might as well do it to get the best results possible. So that's why we're here. Thanks so much for Joe. It's a good show when it goes so quick.
It goes quick. Yep.
And thanks to Philly Phil on the board over here for coming in on his day off. Really appreciate that. Thanks for all the support we're getting out there. We got a tremendous amount of questions. We're going to start answering them a little more during the show next week.
Okay.
And you can also email any questions, of course, to Joe at Dr. Weiner or nutritionalfrontiers.com.
Yep.
Or you can just call us at the office. Make that appointment, 412-922 412-922-9355. Thanks so much. Have a great day, and God